Hi everyone, it's Amy Sheffer. Thanks for joining me for this week's Make It Monday challenge. Today I'm going to share with you a design idea that I've been having fun with lately, and that is making a background out of repeating frame die cuts, kind of like a gallery wall. Here are a few cards that I've previously made with this technique. For this card, I've used the scallop frame from the Tag Sale number 10 die set, and I've just repeated it to cover the whole background of this card. The frames add an interesting visual and textural element to the card. Then for Stamp Affair this year, I made this card with the Art with Heart stamp set. You can see in the background I've offset 2 frames at an angle and trimmed off the overhang. These frames were done with the Pretty Frame cover plate. And then most recently is this card that I made with the Stylized Autumn stamp set. In the background there are 2 frames from the Keep It Simple Frames die set. Okay, so today we're going to make a new card with a background of repeating frame die cuts. I'm starting with a top fold A2 white card base. First I'm going to do some ink blending on the card, starting with Aqua Mist and finishing with Ocean Tides. I'm starting with a very light application, and then once I've built up some color, I can get a little bit more heavy-handed. Next, I'm going to add some splatter in Ocean Tides. And then some white splatter using a Mr. Huey opaque white color mist. Okay, now we're ready to start putting together the background frames. I've got 4 of the scalloped rounded rectangle frames from Keep It Simple Frames, and I'm going to adhere them to the card base in 2 rows, staggering the placement much like you would lay brick. I'm adhering these to the card base with multi-medium matte finish. Once the frames are all in place, just trim off the overhang with scissors or a paper cutter. Okay, now I'm going to add some holiday greens images and a sentiment from Inspired Jesus. I've got a bunch of these holiday greens images already stamped and die cut. These branches are pine feather, the pine cones are cocoa bean. For the flowers, I've used ripe avocado and olive twist, and the flower buds are autumn rose and scarlet jewel. I'm going to arrange these how I want them, which is going to be a pretty full arrangement. And then I'm going to use Lori Willison's Press and Seal tip to hold my arrangement intact while I adhere it to the card base. You might have to do this in layers if you have a lot of die cuts in your cluster. I adhered some of these with foam tape and then reconsidered after realizing I'd have trouble adhering my sentiment. I pulled those popped up elements back off, removed the foam tape, and then switched to my tape gun. That way when I added the sentiment it wasn't too lopsided. This sentiment is from Inspired Jesus. The stamped part was stamped on cocoa bean and white embossed. So that finishes up today's card. I can't wait to see what you do with this challenge. If you don't have any frame dies, just remember you can always make your own frames by die cutting one shape out of another. Have fun, and thanks for watching.